Hey guys, Todd from COSN coming at you again today. Hey, today I was going to go over building a camera case. When I started, I had a small camera case. It worked good for what I was doing, but as I got more gear for different effects, long range, aerial, like a drone, I just ran out of space. And instead of grabbing all these different, because I have a case for the drone, I have a case for the Canon, I have cases, but instead of grabbing 10 different cases to go shoot out in the field, it's easier, and I wanted just to grab one case, have everything together, including my charging systems, battery backups, everything into one case. So today I'm going to show you that. Of course, I built a lot of rifle cases, so that's kind of where this came from too as well. Basically, it's pretty easy to set these cases up, lay everything out the way you want it, play with it a couple times to make sure you get it the way you want it, because once you cut it, of course, you're set. Unless you go on to Pelican, because this is a Pelican vault case. Usually they sell replacement foam and you can redo it, but do it once and cut it once and hopefully you're good to go. Now, if I got more gear or something, I changed up cameras because, more stuff comes out. And I can buy that foam that goes in here and then recut that. But I don't want to do that. I want to make sure I try and get it right the first time and get it all cut out. So what I'm going to start with is basically what I'm using to cut. Now, an electric knife actually works really well for all sorts of different types of foam. This soft foam, what this is, and it doesn't have the square pluck. If you've seen that, basically it's a bunch of half-inch squares. You can actually hand pluck it to fit whatever type of gear you're putting in the case. This is actually a solid, kind of a light foam. They have a high density foam and a couple other different versions of this foam. I wanted it to where it was solid so I can cut my own, because the plucking, the half-inch square plucking works, but you can't quite get it exactly the way you want it. Now, I usually always try to leave about an inch space between everything that I have in the case. That gives it so that the walls don't collapse in or get worn out. Over time they will, but with this, it'll just last a little bit longer, leaving that 1 inch space. Now, like I said, lay all your gear out, get it to where you want it, make a pattern. And on these cases, a lot of times there isn't a lot of straight edges, so you kind of have to eyeball it, plus use a ruler or a level to get where you want all your grids to be to cut out. Now again, like I said, this is an electric knife. You can use all sorts of plug-in different types. This one's super awesome because it is cordless and it's got real thin blade on there. And this is the Bubba knife. They're not cheap. I think they're right around 300 something bucks. I happen to have one for multi-use fishing foam. So this is the really soft foam, and what's nice about these is it's got the fillet knife on it. So when you go through the foam, you can literally make different turns and it comes out nice and clean. Okay. And I didn't really even try to hold that at a different angle. It kind of smoothly just goes right through it. Now in the high density foam, this is the high density foam, kind of like the military boxes come with this high density foam. And it's really nice because it holds up for long periods of time. This also will cut it. And again, you can do different designs, you can do different, angles, you can do all sorts of different things. Now, when I set my stuff up, I usually set squares. As you can see here, I laid everything out in squares, just easier to cut. I don't, if I make a mistake, everything's pretty much straight line. So now it is a dual layer case, so I'm going to have to cut the top. What I mean by that is there's this layer and then another layer underneath that. So I'll cut the top, put the top back in, draw my pattern on the bottom piece, and then cut that piece, depending on if whatever I'm putting in there needs the double layer or not. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start and get through this, and I'll show you the final results. Okay guys, so another tip too, get your electric knife to go through. Initially, to start your cuts, I always take and I cut right along a line. So I go in there, just cut right along a line. Now you can use a razor blade to do this as well. One of these type razor blades. That electric knife makes it just quicker and easier, a little bit better, cleaner cuts. So, but to get it started, getting your electric knife through this foam, just make yourself an initial cut. I always do it in the same spot on each square so I know where to start at. Okay guys, so now I got both sides cut. Basically now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna size each compartment to whatever I have. What I mean by that is, this is only so thick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the same piece that I cut out of that section and I'm gonna cut it in half, which I have. So that's how big it was. So I cut a separate section and then I'm gonna lay that back in so that the height of the item, which would be the drone, that height is gonna land about right on top. Because if I leave too much space and I'm carrying this around, yeah, it's foam, but it can still bounce around. I want everything to try and be as tight and airtight as possible. And then after I get done fitting all the items at the right heights so that they don't, bang around and they actually are nice and tight, I'm gonna go ahead and use a hot glue gun and I'm gonna glue gun all these layers together. Now that hot glue does have a tendency to melt this foam, so be careful and use small amounts. If you use too much, it could melt it and leave you with holes and things like that. So I'm gonna hot glue all this stuff together once I get everything fitted into the right height. I've got pretty much everything in here. Now it's basically just grab and go, which is super nice. I do have another case that has different types of gear as far as like bolting action cameras onto cages or magnets underneath vehicles. I do have that other stuff that I don't always need to take with me, but this will be everything that I need on just most any adventure. I'll have everything I need in one case. Plus it's dust proof and waterproof. It's just perfect for bringing out there and not worrying about banging my gear up or getting it completely dusty and dirty and having to clean it all. So, and sometimes that happens. They do get dusty, dirty. You got to clean it, but this will definitely keep it a lot nicer. So I'll show you guys real quick. That's the final product right here. So I got my drone, of course, charging batteries. I've got all the different batteries for all the action cams, Canon, charging cables. I've got mics set up, DJI batteries. I've got tripods. I've got more mics, Canon camera, more action cams. And then of course, what I'm filming on right now goes right here, which is the DJI Action 4, which I absolutely love. I'll do a video on that. And my charging pack. So this will actually be fully self-sustaining as far as charging these batteries. Now it won't last forever, of course, but it definitely give me a lot more longevity having this battery pack with me and being able to charge my batteries. All right guys, so I appreciate you watching and everything you guys do for me. Always remember, prepare your community, prepare for the worst but hope for the best. So I'll catch you guys on another video. If you guys have any questions at all, like what type of case, foam, all that good stuff, just throw some comments down there and I'll get back to you. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.